Hi Year 2. So to start off with our spellings today, we're going to look at two homophones. And if you remember, a homophone is a word that sounds the same but is spelt differently and has a different meaning. So the two we're looking at today are R, make sure I've got a pen, which is A-R-E, and hour. But when you actually say them, especially if you're speaking quickly, they do sound the same. People normally say R and it doesn't sound much different, but they have a different meaning. The O-U-R is a belonging word. So if something belongs to someone, you use O-U-R. So I'm going to read out these sentences and I'm going to miss out the gap. And I want you to think about which one should go in. So we've got the first one, the blue one. We love our dog. So which one would go in there? Then we've got who are you? And then the red one is our house is huge. And the green one is they are going out to play. And then down the bottom, the black one is a double challenge. They are all coming to our party. Now I deliberately didn't say our because that would help you a bit too much. But when you have a go at reading them, some of them are belonging. Something belongs to someone. And that's when you have to use O-U-R. So I want you to write the sentences and fill in the correct form of our or our. So let's have a look at the answers. I'm going to have to write these with my finger because the pen's broken. So this might be a bit tricky. So we love our dog. So our dog belongs to us. So you need O-U-R. The next one, who are you? It's just asking a question, who are you? Our house is huge. Now our house belongs to us, so you can say our house. Make sure it has a capital, a big O this time. They are going out to play. They are all coming to our party. So the first one is A-R-E, but the second one is O-U-R. They are all coming to our party. So if you got the spelling one wrong, just cross it out and put the correct one above it. There's no need to write out anything again. So yesterday, your challenge was to find out some facts about elephants, and here we've got some facts, some different ones that I've found out. I'm going to move the red line down and we'll have a go at reading them together. So I want you to read them with me. Elephants are the largest land mammals in the world. Elephants can live to be over 70 years old. Elephants have a very good sense of smell. Elephant tusks are used for digging, lifting and for defence purposes. That means to defend themselves if they're being attacked. Elephants' trunks are very important. They are used for breathing, greeting other elephants, picking up objects, smelling and drinking. Elephants have more than 400 muscles in their trunks. Elephants are social animals. They often wrap their trunks together in displays of affection. So it's a bit like hugging, like we hug. Elephants can swim using their trunks like snorkels. The elephant's pregnancy is the longest of all animals. It takes 22 months. Elephants feel vibrations in the ground using their feet, and a vibration is like sort of a shaking, there's like a tremor. Elephants' ears help to regulate their temperature in hot climates, which means they can cool themselves down. They use them like giant fans, and the blood vessels in their ears help to cool them down. So that is a list of facts about elephants. It's not really a report about elephants. It's not a non-chronological report. It's just a list. And it's actually got bullet points. They're little squares instead of circles, but each sentence starts with a square. So it's a list of bullet points. What do you notice about every single sentence? Especially when you look down the list. They all start with the same word. We've got elephants, 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 elephants. They all start with elephants. This one starts with the, but they're very repetitive. So if you were trying to turn these into a report, you'd really want to stop saying elephants so many times. And maybe you'd think of ways of joining up the sentences, so joining up the facts to make them a bit more interesting, so it's less like a list. So today we're going to be looking at using conjunctions to join up sentences to make longer, more interesting sentences. And remember, conjunctions are those little words that help us extend sentences, or they can help us join two separate sentences together. So here are some examples of conjunctions. We're going to read them together. And I like the way they're on jigsaw pieces because it illustrates how they join two phrases, two bits of information or two sentences together. So we've got after, and, which is a really useful one, but don't use it too much because it's really tempting to just say and. Because, which is my favourite one. Big elephants can always understand small elephants. Remember how to spell that one. That's really useful when you're explaining things. This happened because of this. But, until, we've got and again, double ands. Before, as, so, that's another very useful one. Then, when, while, if, or, since, that, it's another useful one. Got another or. Some of these ones keep repeating, don't they? Although, which is quite a tricky one to spell. However. And so those are some examples of ones that you can use. So here we've got some examples of pairs of sentences, and I want you to have a think how you could join them up. What word could you use to join them up? So we've got elephants are the largest land animal. Elephants live in both Africa and Asia. What little conjunction word could you use to join them up so you don't have to say elephants twice? So you could cross out that elephants and just join those up. What about these two? Elephants have a long, flexible trunk. Elephants use their trunks to collect water and carry objects. So you don't need to say elephants again. You don't need that full stop. You could join those two sentences together. Elephants have two ivory tusks. Elephant tusks are used for digging and scraping. What could you use to join those? So pause the video, have a talk with your grown-up if someone's helping you, and think about how you could join those up. You don't have to write them down, just think about how you could make those into one long sentence. So I've had a go at joining them up. We've got elephants are the largest land animal and they live in both Africa and Asia. So I must remember to also cross out that full stop because we don't need it anymore. Elephants have a long flexible trunk that they use to collect water and carry objects. Cross out that full stop. So this one I used the conjunction and this one I used that. Though I did have to add a couple of other words so it still made sense. Elephants have two ivory tusks that are used for digging and scraping. So in that case, I only needed one word. I just used that. Now you may have used different words, but as long as it makes sense, that's fine. But it has got rid of all that elephants, elephants, elephants. It means we've halved the number of times we've said elephants. So the TRP is can I use conjunctions? So what I've given you here is a list of some of the features of elephants. So their long flexible trunk, their hairy tail, their thick leathery skin, their large broad feet, their sharp tusks and their large ear flaps. There's lots of adjectives in there, aren't there? But what I want you to do is to explain why they have these things and what they use them for. So you could start your sentence with elephants have. You don't have to, you could use a different starter. And you could use words like so that, because, which, when, to help explain why they have these features. So why do they have large broad feet? Well, it's to stop them sinking into the mud, because they're so heavy. If they had little narrow hooves, they'd literally disappear straight into the mud. So that is why they have them. You've got to put that into a sentence explaining that. Why do they have sharp tusks? So it's to defend themselves. They use them for picking up things. They use them for scraping bark off trees. Why do they have such thick leathery skin? So that's to protect themselves from the hot African sun. They have a hairy tail. They actually use that to swish the flies off their bottom, because their bottoms might get a bit smelly, and they use their little hairy tail to flick off the flies. And their long flexible trunk, they use that for lots of things. Remember, they can breathe underwater, they can spray water over their back with it, they can suck up water with it and then squirt the water into their mouth. So there's lots of different things you could use for that one, and they can carry things with it. And their large ears, remember, they use those to cool themselves down. So what I want you to do is to write some explanations in a sentence. So to write down a sentence explaining why they have those features. And I'm not going to say how many I want you to do. I want you to see how many you can do. If this was at school, you'd be doing 6. So I want you to see how close to that you can get. Can you explain why elephants have each of those features? So good luck with that, and I look forward to hearing some of your sentences.